What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video I have another very fun Halloween Cup team that you guys can give a try. It's extremely bulky and plays around the power of Mandibuzz and how well poison types can do in this meta. So we have Nidoqueen on the lead, Mandibuzz as our anchor, and Toxapex as a safe swap. Kind of an interesting ABA, ABB, depending on how you look at it. Because our whole goal with the Toxapex is we want to draw out harder counters to the Mandibuzz, so we're looking at things like Charjabug, for example, to try to get that onto the field, especially with our Nidoqueen lead. And overall, this team gave me two very nice sets, a 5-0 and a 4-1, so we're going to see some of those battles and also the team that beat it and why it beat it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Nidoqueen versus Shadow Golurk. Oh man, this is a bad lead. Now Toxapex is a better matchup because of Brine, as it will do super effective damage, and we draw out Charjabug. So far things are looking bad, but they're also looking good. They're bad but good, and this is why. We got Charjabug onto the field. That's going to free up Mandibuzz in the end game. That's the whole point of the Toxapex safe swap, as we will decide to no-shield the discharge. Thing number two is Nidoqueen can come back in and farm quite a bit of energy with Poison Jab, as we do resist the fast and charge moves here unless they have Crunch, which could obviously do a decent amount of neutral damage. But we can get a lot of energy right here, which is a huge play for us. And then we hope that Mandibuzz can sweep, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and look to go for the Earth Power. Maybe get ourselves a shield advantage, which would be very nice for the Mandibuzz. As we do get the shield, we're going to go ahead and counter swap into Mandibuzz, and they swap in a Pawniard. Now, we are up 2-to-1 shields, but we are only doing resisted damage with Dark Pulse and Aerial Ace. You guys could run Foul Play as well. I just happen to have Dark Pulse on my Mandibuzz from a couple seasons back, where it was a bit better in terms of damage against that meta. And just charge TMs are kind of rare for me nowadays, so I'm not going to change that away. It's the similar coverage, but you guys could easily go for Foul Play. But Dark Pulse here, really nice chip damage. I'm not going to lie. 2 Dark Pulses, as you guys can see. We already got the Pawniard into the red, and we still have 2 shields. So things are looking pretty good for us, as we will now shield the Night Slash, and then look to go for the Aerial Ace here. If this gets the final shield, things can get a little dicey. Now, Golurk does have access to Dynamic Punch, so I am very aware that they might counter swap into Golurk right here to throw a Dynamic Punch, which they do. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out, and I catch it on the Nidoqueen, as Dynamic Punch would do a lot, but it was actually an Earth Power. Boom! Down we go. Mandibuzz needs to come in, and this is a great opportunity for us to overload on energy, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dark Pulse now. This will obviously take out the Shadow Golurk, a beautiful Pokemon, but boom! Down it goes. And in comes Pawniard, which we can get to the Aerial Ace just in time. So this is going to be a good game. So even though it started off bad, mid-game was bad, Mandibuzz had what it took to overcome right there at the end. Good game. Moving into the next battle, we have Nidoqueen versus Gramble. This is good, right? Last lead, really bad. Last game. This game, very good. Now, a Scrafty swap-in is interesting. What we want to do is set ourselves up here with a debuff with the Poison Fang, and then look to come in with Toxapex. This does quite a few things for us. Firstly, we can easily win this matchup here against Scrafty. Secondly, that Granbull now recognizes that there is a Nidoqueen and a Toxapex here in the game, so we're not going to see that Granbull come back in, which means we see Pokemon number 3, and we can get off charge moves against it, because we're just going to go ahead and commit to the farm down right here, thanks to our bulk and that Poison Fang debuff. Now, it's a Jellicent in the back, so this is beautiful. This is what we call a good game. We have hard counters to both of my opponent's Pokemon in terms of Mandibuzz to Jellicent and Nidoqueen to the Granbull. So they don't know that, but I do, obviously. So this is going to be a good game. What we're just looking to do here, we're not trying to swap out. We're trying to not make anything happen. We're just trying to put down as much consistent damage as possible. Let the Toxapex go, and then come in with Mandibuzz and lock this game down, as they won't be able to do enough. Counter swap back into Nidoqueen, and that is going to be a good game, very well played, as you can easily just farm this down. But they do decide to surrender. All right. Moving to the next one, we got Nidoqueen versus Greninja. Okay, bad lead. We had a bad lead with Shadow Golurk, good lead with Granbull, now Greninja. And what I like to do on Greninja is a swap on the third fast move. That is typically when Greninjas will throw, because that's water, or that's Hydro Cannon and Night Slash. In this case, we caught the Night Slash right here, and you want to catch that damage on the Toxapex. Now, they swap into a Golbat, and that Greninja also has energy, so we have to account for that later on in this battle. Now, Golbat isn't something that can destroy our team to some extent, right? We didn't like draw out a Charge Bug, for example, so we don't know what Pokemon number 3 is, but in this matchup here, we can easily get to multiple brines to get the Golbat relatively low. And then what I'm going to look to do is make a bold call here, because the opponent is obviously getting a very healthy farm down from Wing Attack, and I can't get to another brine, unfortunately. So I'm going to make the call that they might go for a blind Shadow Ball. So I'm going to come in with Mandibuzz and see if we can get that, right? Sometimes taking advantage of the eagerness from the opponent, as we do get the Shadow Ball. That's going to be heavily resisted, and now we can easily Snarl down. This is actually a really interesting position for us, because now I know this is going to be Poison Fang, but I want to counter swap into Nidoqueen to Poison Jab down. I wanted to do it one turn before, so that when Greninja comes back in, we're ahead on energy. Yes, I know they have a charge move ready to go, but my hope was that I could just Poison Jab down the Greninja here in order to just completely take it out, because it is so far behind in terms of health. As you can see, we get the defense drop, and now I'm going to make a bold prediction right here that this might be a Night Slash. So I decided to shield. In another game, I decided to no shield. It wasn't this one, sorry. Nidoqueen now comes in, so this is going to be very close. Greninja is out of energy, and our Mandibuzz has a good amount of health and energy left. So we go straight for the Earth Power to get that final shield. What I didn't want to happen was them no shield a Poison Fang, and then I couldn't get to an Earth Power just because of how the energy would play out here. So we go down. I throw the Dark Pulse right away, and the Shadow Nidoqueen's obviously going to be going for Poison Fangs right here. And what we can look to do is overload just a bit. I know the Greninja is out of energy, so it's going to need to do 3 fast moves to get to the Night Slash or the Hydro Cannon. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Aerial Ace here, because I think I can outpace it. I also want to try to undercharge, maybe get one more Snarl through. But here we go. 1, 2, and I have the Aerial Ace. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Mandibuzz able to close it out right there, and it's just been consistent for me. In this meta. Good game. Alright, moving into the next one. We got Nidoqueen versus Golbat here on the lead. So Golbat's, I know it's not anything deadly against this team, but it is something that's kind of tough to deal with. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for a Poison Fang here. The Earth Power doesn't do that much, and I'd rather apply the debuff and try to get things rolling and counter swap into Toxapex, but they blind swap into Shiftry. And this is what I found very interesting with having a poison lead and a poison safe swap, is if there is something like a Shiftry in the back, which is extremely spicy, so hats off to my opponent there for running that. That's a throwback to the OG days. They might blind swap in without recognizing that actually it's a bad matchup. Not everyone will do that. It might happen just like it did right here. So what we can do is farm down. We've taken Switch, which is nice, and the Golbat's also going to have to throw a Shadow Ball against us in order to take us out. So I'm going to no shield just in case it's a Poison Fang, but it was a Shadow Ball, which is fine. And I can come in with Mandibuzz now, as they did have a Shiftry in the back, so I don't know what Pokemon number 3 is going to be, but my guess is maybe it has a decent matchup, or Nidoqueen has a decent matchup. and my opponent actually decides to surrender. So it was obviously a really good matchup. So good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one, Nidoqueen versus Frostlass. All right, here we go. This is the tough one. We're going to go ahead and swap out into Toxapex. In comes a Wormadam Trash Cloak. Yeah, that Wormadam Trash Cloak is very good. Excuse me. It's a Pokemon that I used and climbed a lot of rating with. I actually showcased it in a Greninja team. If you guys haven't seen that already, it was my best team of this meta. And honestly, I think that team still is. That team is very powerful. And it plays around the anchor of Wormadam Trash Cloak because of the amount of poisons in this meta. I'm running 2 on this team, right? And Confusion here does a lot of damage, and then they have Bug Buzz and Iron Head on the back end, which can do quite a bit of damage against most teams. And there's also a Frostlass that we have to deal with, which does do super effective damage to both of my Pokemon here. So what we're going to do is we're going to shield the Bug Buzz, and then I'm going to look to see if I can potentially Snarl down, but I don't think I can. So I should have loaded up more on energy, honestly. Looking at this is where I made my mistake. I should have gone for way more energy because I could easily tank, because now Frostlass is just going to clap me. That's how it goes sometimes. Frostlass with energy is obviously deadly in any meta. And as you guys are going to see here, I'm like, yeah, I got to try to catch a charge move, and the Frostlass just doesn't care. Avalanche is going to be one-shotting both my Nidoqueen and Mandibuzz, so there's not a lot I can do other than go back in time and make a better decision with my energy and shields against the Wormadam Trash Cloak. So that's going to be a good game. Avalanche gets my final shield, and they have another one, which I know, but I'm going to go ahead and just fight the good fight here. Maybe we get an Aerial Ace shield bait. Maybe they lag a bit and I can get a Dark Pulse. You never know. Go Battle Lag strikes randomly and unfortunately, but sadly for me, I'm going to go down. Boom! Down goes the Mandibuzz. So, misplays on me there, but Frostlass did core break me. Good game. Alright, we got Chargebug here on the lead. Very good lead for us. They swap into Greninja, so we're going to do the Toxapex swap-in right here. This is a matchup that you can win, especially, you got to watch out for boosts, right? And you want to be shielding later, not earlier. And what do I mean by that? Night Slash is going to do neutral damage, but Night Slash also has a chance to boost the attack of Greninja, and you won't go down to the first 1, 2, maybe even 3 Night Slashes. It's going to be number 3 or number 4 that you got to look out for depending on your health. So you want to shield then in order to maintain switch advantage, which is what we're going to look to do here. So I let this go. This is I think Night Slash number 3. And we're going to go ahead and now commit to Farm Down, and I will give up a shield on Night Slash number 4, right? Making sure we maintain switch advantage, making sure we're low so that Chargebug doesn't get a ton of energy from farming us down, but they decide to come in with Jellicent, which is totally fine by me, right? I have 2 hard counters, and I have switch advantage, which is great. So Toxapex right here is going to be able to just get nicely farmed down. Not before I get to a Brine, though, as I can do some nice chip damage, but Mandibuzz locks down the Jellicent, and Nidoqueen locks down the Chargebug, so that is going to be a good game, very well played. This was very common that I saw in the battles that I did, and as we've kind of showcased today, there's a lot of polarities where the things that Nidoqueen can beat, Mandibuzz beats their anchors on the back end in a lot of situations, like we're seeing today, so Chargebug right now, unfortunately, is just going to get farmed down by Nidoqueen. You want to go for that Poison Fang right away, because in these situations you can basically farm down. So we're just going to go ahead and look to do that as another charge move is going to come through. I'm not too worried. I think the game's pretty much over. We still have Mandibuzz. We're going to throw one more Poison Fang right here and see if they give up a shield. Either way, it's a good game. They do decide to shield, which is fine. The defense drop, but we're going to be able to farm down, and then we have a Earth Power ready to go here for Jellicent. So that's going to be a good game. We still have Mandibuzz, right, with that Dark typing, Snarl and Dark Pulse, and extremely tanky. Boom! Down it goes. Good battle. All right, moving into the next one, we have Nidoqueen versus Shadow Granbull. All right, here we go. Very positive lead for us. Let's see what they decide to do. They swap into Toxapex. Okay, so this is an interesting matchup for us. Obviously, I want to try to maintain switch advantage, but what I can do here is safely go for Earth Power to get the shield and then come into the mirror, as this is a similar situation to the Greninja matchup, where you can win this matchup with even shields and maintain switch advantage. So we're going to look to do that. Now, Brine and Sludge Wave are both resisted because of the typings, right? Water and poison. But Sludge Wave is just a little bit better of a move. So we're just going to keep going for that. Brine, obviously, not the greatest of water charge moves out there, as we just keep going for Sludge Waves. And again, we have shield advantage, but I'm okay going even on shields to maintain switch advantage. Obviously, switch is the most important thing to us right now, so we're going to look to maintain that because we don't want Shadow Granbull against the Mandibuzz as we stop this next Sludge Wave. And now we can commit to the farm down right here, as I know they can't get to a Brine. So, let's see what they decide to come in with. It's going to be a Sableye. There we go. Once again, if you're getting these positive leads, Charge Bug or Fairies, the pairing that they have in the back, Mandibuzz usually handles, which is really nice. In this case, it's going to be Sableye. And I'm anticipating them swapping at some point, and there it is. They go into Granbull, and we're going to go ahead and come in with the Nidoqueen and just kind of truck through it right here with fast moves, you know? Just fully take it down. We will see Sableye come in. They decide to throw the charge move right away. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here and then look to go for Earth Power. I think they know it's over, just like I do. Obviously, Mandibuzz will be able to survive a return and has plenty of energy. So I shielded and went for the Earth Power. Boom! Down goes the Sableye. Good game. Alright, moving to the next one, we got Nidoqueen versus Greninja. Okay, same thing. 3 fast moves from the Greninja, and we're swapping out. So there's 2, there's 3, we're swapping out, and we catch the charge move once again. This is beautiful. So this is a good situation. They decided to go for Night Slash, which is fine. In comes Wormadam Trash Cloak. Now, my brain's already starting to think this might be my favorite team for this cup so far, as we've seen 2 of the 3 pieces, which means Pokemon number 3 could be Fortress. And in the Mandibuzz situation, we can overcome that because of our bulk and the charge move spam that we have. So what we want to look to do here is just go for as many brines as possible, as they're basically going to be able to commit to the farm down. But I get to 1 more brine. This is huge. This damage right here is critical as we get a shield. That gave us a huge win condition. So shout out to my Toxapex for holding strong there as we come in with Mandibuzz right away. And they did blind throw as well, so it's just going to be an Iron Head, which we can survive. And now we're looking pretty good because I can shield the Bug Buzz and now look to dramatically overload on energy. This is my play. I messed up against that Frostlass team because the lack of energy gain or energy farming that I did. In this game, I'm not going to make that same mistake. So I go ahead and go for the Aerial Ace, and now it is confirmed. It is Fortress in the back. So shout out to my opponent for trying out my team. That is awesome to see, but with the knowledge of what it could potentially be, I played to that, and it kind of gave me a little advantage here as I can now go for Aerial Aces. Remember, there's still the Greninja to deal with, which is not out of energy because it has a little residual. But we're in a very good situation. Now, I am concerned that it might be Rock Tomb, but I'm going to risk it, and it is just going to be a mirror shot. So we're going to go ahead and go for another Aerial Ace, and this is where they might swap out as well. I would if I was them. And they do. It's going to be the Greninja that comes in, so we come in with the Nidoqueen. We go for the Poison Fang right here to apply the debuff. And this is where, I had said it before, it was a different Greninja game. This is where I'm going to risk it being a night. I'm going to call it that it's a Night Slash. So I'm going to no shield, and it was. That is huge. That is absolutely huge because now they're forced to throw another charge move, which is fine by me because I can shield this one now and look to go for another Poison Fang. They get the boost, and this is looking okay because we applied, they're completely out of energy. We've applied the Poison Fang debuff to them, which means Mandibuzz can come in and snarl down perfectly and have a Dark Pulse ready to go for Fortress on the back end. So very good game to my opponent. That was a very close one right there. And I think ultimately it was the win condition for me was that brine, that extra brine that I got on the Toxapex and the healthy farm down I got with Mandibuzz. That was kind of tough for them to overcome, right? So good game, very well played. Overall, this team, pretty fun, very solid. Like we saw Frostlass core broke it, but you can overcome that with energy and whatnot. But overall, pretty bulky, pretty strong team for the Halloween Cup meta. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.